Hey everyone, today we're going to dive into this really simple but super powerful story that Jesus told. It's all about a tree, a gardener, and, you guessed it, getting a second chance to grow. So let me ask you something. Have you ever planted a seed? You know that feeling, right, where you're just waiting and hoping, you give it water, you make sure it gets sunlight, and you just wait. Well, hold on to that feeling, because our story today is all about that exact kind of patience and hope. Okay, so our story starts in a vineyard. You know, a place that's all set up for growing amazing grapes. But smack dab in the middle of all these grapevines, the owner planted a fig tree. And this wasn't just any old spot. Nope, it was prime real estate, the kind of place where you'd expect a tree to just thrive. And you know what? The owner was super patient. The first year, he comes by looking for figs, and nothing. Okay. Year 2, he comes back, still hopeful, and still no fruits. By the time the 3rd year rolls around, his patience is really starting to run out. 3 whole years, and this tree, in its perfect spot, is still completely bare. So after 3 years of getting absolutely nothing, the owner starts to think, you know, this tree is kind of a problem. It's taking up all this great space in my vineyard and not giving anything back. He decides, okay, something's gotta change. So he goes to his gardener and says, "Cut it down. Why cumbereth it the ground?" I know cumbereth is a really old-fashioned word. It's basically a fancy way of saying, why is it just taking up space? Or it's totally in the way. The owner had clearly had enough. Let's really think about this for a second. A good, healthy tree. It gives back, right? It gives you shade, it gives you food, it makes the whole place look beautiful. But this tree, it was just a taker. It was soaking up all the sunshine, drinking all the water, using up the good soil, and for what? Not a single fig. It wasn't just not helping, it was actually making things worse for the rest of the garden. But right when it seems like it's all over for the tree, the gardener steps in. Now, this is the guy who's been tending to this tree day in and day out. And you know what? He wasn't ready to throw in the towel. Not yet. He makes a promise. The gardener basically says, please, just give it 1 more year. Just 1. And he wasn't just asking for time. He had a whole plan. He promised to give it extra special care, to dig up the soil around it, give it some really good fertilizer. Yeah, that's the dung part. To do whatever it took to help it finally get strong and grow some fruit. Okay, so that's a cool story about a tree, right? But it's way more than that. It's a parable. And a parable is kind of like a story with a secret code, where everything in it stands for something bigger. So what does it all really mean? Let's break it down and crack that code. All right, first up, the fig tree. That tree, well, that's us. It represents people. It's you, it's me. God put us here in this world, his special garden, and he's just hoping we grow and do amazing things. So, what about the fruit? Well, the fruit is all the good stuff we do. It's our actions. You know, like being kind, helping somebody out, sharing what you have, all those good choices we make, that's the fruit. That's what it means to bear good fruit. And the gardener, the hero who steps in to save the day, that represents Jesus. He's the one who cares for us, who never gets tired of loving us, and who is always, always ready to step in and help us, especially when we're having a tough time. And this is my favorite part of the whole story, the gardener's plan. Because this is where it all comes together. It's not just about a tree anymore. It's about hope. It's about the amazing power of getting a second chance. And you can see exactly what that loving care looks like. The gardener doesn't just cross his fingers and hope for the best, right? No way. He gets to work. He's going to dig around it, which means getting rid of all the hard stuff, all the obstacles. Then he's going to give it nutrients, special food to make it strong. He's doing everything he possibly can to help it grow. And on top of all that, he gives it the one thing it needs most, more time. So here's the really important thing to get. This story isn't meant to be scary. It's not really about the threats of being cut down. It's a story about hope. It's about a gardener who loves this tree so much that he will do anything to help it grow. It's about being given every single chance to turn things around. But here's the thing. The story just kind of stops there. Jesus never tells us what happened to the fig tree. Did it finally grow fruit? We don't know. And that's the whole point. He left it open-ended because the choice, well, the choice was up to the tree. And that leaves a big question for us, doesn't it? What kind of fruit are you going to choose to grow?